FBI, stand down now!
What in the? Show me some ID.
They came for a peaceful vacation until the police surrounded them on the beach. What they didn't know was that the man they were targeting was an FBI agent. Tropical beach resort, palm trees swaying, black family of 4 laughing ass. They unload suitcases from a shuttle. For Marcus Carter, this trip wasn't just a vacation. It was a rare pause in a life lived under pressure. The flight had been long, but the reward was here. Warm ocean air, a week with his wife and 2 kids, and nothing on his calendar except family time. As a special agent for the FBI, Marcus had spent years moving through shadows, dangerous operations, long surveillance, nights, and situations where one wrong move could change everything. Here, though, he was just dad. The guy who carried the sunscreen, took too many photos, and ordered extra pancakes at breakfast. But even as he walked through the resort's grand lobby, taking in the tropical flowers and polished marble floors, some part of his mind, the part that never truly clocked out, kept scanning. 2 uniformed police officers in dark sunglasses leaning against their SUV near the resort entrance, watching guests. The IT happened that first afternoon, Marcus noticed. A pair of local police officers parked near the resort entrance. At first, it was nothing unusual. Officers sometimes patrolled tourist spots, but their eyes weren't scanning the crowd. They were scanning him, and the way one of them lifted a radio to his mouth made Marcus's instincts twitch. He said nothing to his wife. No need to ruin the first day over what could just be a coincidence. Still, he filed it away. Because coincidences rarely stayed coincidences in his world. Family laughing on the beach, bright towels spread out. Marcus reading under a sun umbrella. The next day was perfect. His kids were building an elaborate sandcastle. His wife was stretched out with a book, and Marcus sat back, sunglasses on, letting himself relax into the rhythm of the ocean waves. But then, he saw them again, the same 2 officers. This time, walking slowly along the shoreline. Their eyes locked on him. Even as they pretended to scan the crowd, Marcus felt his jaw tighten. Something was coming. 2 officers stepping up to Marcus's family spot on the sand, casting long shadows. Sir, one officer said curtly, "We need to speak with you." Marcus looked up, keeping his voice calm. "About what?" "We'll discuss it at the station," the other replied, his tone clipped. "At my family's here," Marcus said evenly. "You can tell me right now." That's when the taller officer spoke louder, so half the beach could hear. "We have reason to believe this man matches the description of a suspect involved in a string of robberies in the area." Heads turned. People stared. Marcus's wife, Nicole, set her book down slowly. "You've got the wrong man," she said firmly. But the officers were already moving in. Bystanders watching, phones out recording, one officer reaching for handcuffs. "Sir, stand up. Hands where we can see them," one ordered. Marcus glanced at the growing crowd. Half a dozen phones were already recording. Nicole stepped closer to him. "Our kids are right here," she said, voice trembling with anger. "Ma'am, step aside." The officer snapped. Marcus took a slow breath. He could feel the tension in the air tightening like a wire. This was the moment, the decision point. Marcus slowly reaching into his beach bag. Officers tensing, one resting his hand on his holster. "I'm going to reach into my bag," Marcus said clearly, his eyes locked on the officers. "Nice and slow. Don't," the shorter one warned. His hand twitched near his holster. Marcus's hands moved deliberately, his every motion visible. And then he pulled out a worn leather wallet. He flipped it open. The sun hit the gold emblem inside. And for a moment, no one spoke. Close-up of an FBI badge gleaming in the sunlight. The officers. Expressions shifting from aggressive to stunned. "Marcus Carter, Special Agent, Federal Bureau of Investigation," he said evenly. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. The taller officer's mouth opened, then closed. The other's eyes darted to the bystanders' phones. "You just attempted to detain a federal agent in front of witnesses," Marcus said, his voice low but cutting through the beach noise. "Now, tell me exactly why." Police chief arriving, speaking in hushed tones to Marcus. Tension on his face. 10 minutes later, the police chief arrived, flustered, sweating under the sun. In a quiet voice, away from the cameras, he told Marcus the truth. The tip came from a wealthy hotel guest who didn't like the look of his family in the VIP section of the Beached NO investigation. No verification, just a biased phone call and blind action. Marcus had dealt with prejudice before, but seeing it aimed at his kids? That was different. Marcus standing tall, officers being led away by the chief, bystanders still recording. He could have turned this into a public spectacle. He could have arrested the officers on the spot, but Marcus believed in something else, controlled justice that he leaned toward the chief. You'll handle this internally. I'll be in touch to make sure you do. The chief nodded quickly, and Marcus walked back to his family, leaving the officers standing in the shadow of their own choices. Marcus holding his kids' hands as they walk along the shoreline at sunset. That evening, Marcus and his family walked along the beach, the waves washing away the day's tension. His daughter looked up at him. "Daddy, were you scared?" Marcus smiled faintly. "No, baby." But they were. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, Marcus knew the lesson had been clear. You never truly know who you're dealing with until it's too late.